Hello, YouTube. Hello. Welcome. Hello. Here we are. This may look a little different than some of our more recent live streams. I ordered a different webcam and I don't have them plugged in yet, but I have new lights. So hopefully the video quality when I record with the webcam is going to get a lot better. But I just am here in my office and I decided to take a late lunch break and talk about something that has come in because I made my first purchase ever on the TikTok shop. So let's talk about what is new and fabulous and fun. Before we get into that, we should talk about some upcoming things. So, of course, I've got my Lucky Dip Lives, which are coming up on December 3rd and December 17th. And that's where I take, do I have them sitting here? Yes, I do. I've got a bag full of singles that are all She-Ra themed from Spellcast Beauty. I've got a bunch of single glitters from Bonnie Cosmetics. And we take one of each of these and we create a look. So the first one we did last week. We're on a new webcam. Hello, CJ. So those lives are happening on the 3rd and the 17th, the Lucky Dip lives. And also, let's see, Dion and I have some collaborations that are coming up on Mondays. And so I think, let's see, so the 22nd, the 15th, and the 8th. So the 8th is going to be on Dion's channel, and that is where we are swapping our looks. So I'm going to do my makeup the way that she does hers. She's going to do her makeup the way that I do mine, and we are going to kind of swap our aesthetics. So very excited for that. Then on the 15th, we are going to do Gem and the Holograms inspired 80s look. Very colorful, very fun. I sent Dion a cheap wig from Amazon, so it's going to be a good time. And then on 22nd, since it's the week of Christmas, we decided to do Winterween. So we are doing sort of holiday glam meets Halloween. So I'm very excited. So those are coming up. Now, before we get to my first purchase from the TikTok shop, there's a few things that have just been kind of hanging around. They arrived a while ago and I just haven't talked about them. And so I thought we'd talk about the Saw Glam Light release, as well as the Trixie Cosmetics Trixie and Katya holiday collection. So let's go ahead and let's start with the Trixie and Katya. So the Trixie and Katya is kind of a cute little capsule collection, and they did 2 palettes. And so this is the From Katya palette. You can see it looks like a little gift box. I'm already loving this camera so much better. So here is the inside of the From Katya palette. And you can see very dark, very smoky, red with some purples, that kind of aesthetic. And then the From Trixie palette, very similar vibe, but in pinks. And this is the lighter, brighter. You can see we've got some berries, some pinks, some champagne. Very, very pretty. And then there was a set of lashes that came with Katya's bundle. And so I did go ahead and pick these up. These are about the size of lash that I would wear. So I thought that was a pretty good one. These are Krampus, because it's all holiday themed. And then there was a dual blush. So this is Nice and Naughty. This is their blush that's kind of a half pan red and half pan pink. Hello, Ellie Mae. Hope you're doing well. You're back from your shopping trip. I hope you got some goodies. So we're just talking about Trixie and Katya right now from Trixie Cosmetics. This is Twinkle, and this is the highlighter. So beautiful, beautiful pink shimmery highlighter there. And then we've got 2 lipsticks. So we've got the Trixie lipstick is this kind of nude, berry nude, kind of a purpley nude, plummy nude, however you want to describe that. And then we've got the Katya, which is a red. And these are both their buttercream formula, which is kind of just like a cream lipstick. It's got kind of a, not glossy, but definitely not like a matte lipstick. So that's the Trixie and Katya collection. Very excited for that to come in. And then this has just been sitting around. This is the Saw collection from Glamlight. I am excited to play with this. Now, their packaging is really good, but also I'm like, but why though? It's a little bit of, but why though? Because some of it, now I do tend to keep their lip products in the boxes. I think I'm trying to, as I'm rearranging cluttering and all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to find a place where all of the lip kits can just be kind of together, because then I just have to remember like what each lip kit is all about, and then I can just grab a box off the shelf, because loose lip products are a struggle to manage. They are a struggle. I have them all over the place. And so I end up using the same ones over and over again. So I thought with the Glamlite, if I keep them in the little packaging, so this has a lip plumper and a lip liner. So it's a bright red gloss and then like a lip liner that goes with it. So this is kind of fun. Let me see if I can get this out. So it looks like a little syringe, and that is a bright red. I still don't know where my face is. You can tell, even though I got a new camera, I still don't know where everything is positioned. So that's a challenge. But yeah, so this is like a bright, not bright, but like a brick red. Oops. Yeah, so like a brown red, bloody red, rusty red, maybe. And then this is a lip plumper, and it's in this like super fun. It took forever. Can I tell you how many times I had to like pump this? It also locks, which is nice, but I had to pump this so many times before I could get it to go. And so it's kind of this red color, like the color of the packaging. So now this is a lip plumper, and I don't want to get that everywhere. It's very goopy. It's a liquid, so I'm gonna keep that in the package. But so that is the lip kit. Be ready for more lip kits. So this is the packaging for the palette, which is gorgeous, but I don't necessarily want to keep the palette in this big box. But I love this box. It's so cute. And so I'm trying to decide if there's something I can do with this. So right now the box is just kind of hanging out in my collection, but here is the palette. And so you can see that is the cover. And then we've got the inside. It's kind of fun. It's very different than they've done for their other horror collections. It's very rusty red with some gold and some green. Really, really kind of loving that one. So this is going to be fun to play with. This is a very different, like I said, a different color story. A lot of the horror stuff started to look a little samey from Glamlite. There's also this box, which lights up. I don't know why. I don't know if let's see. So you can kind of see maybe, but like the two down here and up here, they kind of light up. It's very hard to tell, but this is the box for the brushes. So I don't know. And the trouble is that they always like glue this stuff in. Oh, is this one? This one's not. Oh, see, they finally figured out, like, this is not glued in, which is perfect, because usually with these things, they make these beautiful boxes, but then it has those foam inserts. And so you have to like yank it out and you ruin the inside of the box. Now, this could be used for some sort of little gift box for somebody who's a horror fan. So that's a potential thing that I could do. I love that. I love that this was not like glued in, because usually that's the problem. Trixie Cosmetics is one of the only places where she even said when she did her PR box for Solid Pink Disco, I think that's what she called it, whatever the Pink Disco collection was. She was like, then you have to ruin the box. She's like, I want you to be able to use this. So here is the blush. Ooh, bought some goodies from Space NK, K Beauty Shop, but there was a long queue. Yeah, so I love that. I have heard so much about Space NK. I know that Space NK has some partnership now with Ulta, or they were trying to set up a partnership. So I've heard a little bit about Space NK, but I didn't. When I went to Ireland, I did get a chance to go to like a Boots. I went to a couple Boots. I went to a Boots at the airport, and then I went to a Boots in Cork. But when I was in the UK, I didn't actually go into London or anything. I was just at the airport and did a little shopping and then flew to Ireland. But so I don't know Space NK. I do know Boots a little bit, but I've heard about them. So there is the Duo Blush from the Saw collection. Pretty peachy pink colors, which I think is really fun. And then there are these brushes. So they did a brush set, and then they had some ad where they were like, for the first time ever, we're doing brushes. And I'm like, these are literally the same brushes you did for Nightmare on Elm Street, except instead of green for the ferals, you did like gunmetal gray. But otherwise, like the red liquid inside the like brushes is exactly the same as what you did. So I was like, that's okay. And then this is the little makeup bag. Very cute. And I think that's everything from the Saw collection. Now let's get into my first ever purchase from the TikTok shop. So I have been hearing about how so many brands are doing all their big deals and all their sales and everything. They're focusing on TikTok. And I saw that Glamlight was having a promo where you could get the Bratz collection on TikTok before you could get it on their website even. They did like a preview sale. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to try out the TikTok shop. And I have to say that my experience was not bad. I got good communication. The only thing is that like, because it's all through TikTok, even though I would get updates in my email, if I got an update, I would click and it would try to take me to TikTok. And so I'd have to be on my phone. So if I tried it on the computer, then it was like such a rigmarole to try to access it and get the updates. So that wasn't great, but the actual like speed of shipping and everything was fine. And Glamlight is known for slow shipping. So like this one, I don't know that it's better than their other shipping. I don't know if it's separate or anything, but it came pretty quickly. So I'm pretty impressed with that. So I did order the Bratz collection. I ordered it without the PR box. And so this is all the stuff. And it was a pretty good deal. It was a pretty good discount on the TikTok shop. And so I was like, let's go ahead and try it. I am not a huge Bratz fan. I was certainly too old. I know I'm an adult like doll collector, but it's all based on nostalgia, and Bratz came out too late for me to have nostalgia for them. And I am such a classic Barbie look. I love the classic Barbie body and head and the look. I love the 80s Barbie face. That's my favorite Barbie face. I love the Barbie doll proportions. I know people have all kinds of problems with it, but I just love that look. And so Bratz were a little too weird for me. Also, I know that losing Barbie shoes was always a problem, but Bratz, their whole foot comes off. So, like, their feet, you can get different feet to be different pairs of shoes. And, like, I would rather have, like, a little barefoot Appalachia Barbie running around than have, like, a Bratz doll with just two nubbins because you lost their whole foot. Like, it just seems weird. I don't get it. So I don't have any particular, like, obsession with the Bratz dolls. But the lip kits are always good from Glamlight, and it looked like there was some other stuff. Now, I didn't get the PR box, but it does still come in like a big Bratz box. So I guess it's like a Bratz themed box, because they often do these like printed cardboard boxes, but this isn't the PR box per se. But then it also packs up nicer, so I'm not sad. And you have to pay extra for the PR box, so I was like, I don't need it for the Bratz dolls. I did buy the PR box for the Saw collection, but that's because I like horror much better. So here we go. So there's so much stuff in here. Okay. Let me see. So we've got the Bratz face and body palette. So we'll take that out in a second. Again, as I'm like entirely surrounded by chaos, trying to find a place to put everything. There are 4 lip kits. So this is the Shop Till We Blush palette. So there's a blush palette as well as an eye palette. And then there are 4 lip kits and this lip plumper, Pucker Up Lip Plumper, which is kind of like a plumping gloss, plumping lip oil. And then there are the 4 lip kits. There's Sasha. So again, I don't really know anything about these dolls. They look familiar because I was just sort of aware of Bratz, but I don't really pay much attention to Bratz or like the lore of Bratz or whatever. But this is Sasha. This is Jade. Chloe with no H, Chloe. Jesus. Okay. And then we have Yasmin, which just makes me think, I'm not a huge Friends fan, but I've watched Friends. And it just makes me think of when Joey and Chandler were watching, God, what is that lifeguard show? Baywatch. And he's like, run, Yasmin, run. That's what it makes me think of. But yeah, so let's go ahead and take a peek. All right. I do like these boxes. They're always printed and they're like nice, sturdy boxes. So these are, I like this better than the PR box because this actually I can use to store little stuff over in my storage spot. So, all right. So let's go ahead. I'm not going to take all the lip kits out, but they're all like nudie. Another thing that Glamlight does, it's a little bit like samey all the time, but also we know that I love my 90s Chola lip. And so they're always like a dark liner with a nude lipstick or like a baby pink or like something. So I love that like all of these are like a dark liner with a lighter lipstick and then you get a gloss to go on top of it. So that is the Yasmin. A rich pigmented lip liner, a creamy rich pigmented lipstick, and a high shine gloss. So this one doesn't say anything about the colors. I was watching Allie Dawson's video and it sounded like some of them describe. So this is Chloe. So Chloe's the little blonde one. So this is the pinky kind of kit. And this one has a rich pigmented lip liner for sculpted definition, a creamy rich pigmented lipstick. Oh, so that's all the same. I thought she had said that some of them described the color. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like they're all the same text on there. So this is Jade. And this one, she did wear Allie Dawson wore this in the video, and it does come out kind of red, but I was like, this doll clearly has like red lips. And this is still like a nude lipstick with a red lip liner, kind of a red brown. So I was like, if you've got a doll with a red lip, why don't you just do a red lip? And then we have Sasha. So that is another. So those are the 4 lip kits. So these will probably make their way into a video or something at some point. Again, we're always trying to figure out what we're going to do. We're trying to get back into content more regularly, and we've been doing more lives, but I don't know when this will show up. So this is the Shop Till We Blush palette. This is the blush, and this is the first time that Glamlight has done cream blushes. They have done powder blushes before. And it looks like a little shopping bag, which is kind of cute and also a little bit tacky, but which is kind of like the Bratz doll. It's kind of cute, but a little bit tacky. So I think that works. I think that seems appropriate. I do sort of hate those little ribbons. I may cut those off. It's cute that it looks like a shopping bag, but then they're also just kind of in the way. And so here we have. Oh, and then there's a separate thing over the creams. There's a separate little thing. I can pull it up. Oh, so sad. All right. And these were just delivered a little bit ago, so there may be some they're probably still a little bit cold. But the top 3, this row here, these are the cream blushes, and then these are the powder blushes. So the creams are a little bit deeper, a little bit richer color, and then we have the more pastel in the powders. So that's very cute. And then we have, and also my light box is now set up and functional in my office. So I need to remember when I'm opening makeup to not swatch it, because then unless I've already taken pictures, because then if I want to take pictures. I know that some people actually prefer, they're like, I like it when I can see that makeup is used or whatever, or touched, but I like to take any pictures that I'm going to take before I've actually gotten my fingers into them and played around or used them for a look. So this is the Bratz, does it have a name? No, Bratz Body and Face Palette. And this one is kind of fun because they are taking a little page from P. Louise, where they are doing kind of the trunk style, where there are 2 layers to the palette, which is kind of fun. The sticker is not kind of fun. Where did I set my scissors? Hello, Lash Me Beat. How you doing, Annaboo? It took me a second to catch up because now they show, so I don't know, people have been noticing this in chats on lives and stuff, but instead of showing your display name, it shows your YouTube @ name. So your actual handle. And so then sometimes for some people it matches, and then for some people it's slightly different. And so then sometimes I have to kind of my brain, you can see the hamster running as fast as it can, trying to turn it around to be okay, you know the name. There we are. So this is the Bratz palette. So you can see it's got one of those covers with the little, very P. Louise, very similar to P. Louise, but Um, very fun. And then there's a little drawer here. So up top, you have all of, oh, and I love that the little packing things are in the shape of stars. I think that's cute. I think it's a fun little extra detail. So all of the really light, ethereal pastel kind of shades are up on the top layer. So you get those pinks and purples and blues. I think that, I mean, I don't know the Bratz aesthetic, but this, when I look at this looks like everything that I've seen of Bratz, this like purple with a little bit of pink and some blue and all that kind of stuff. This feels very appropriate for Bratz. Like I said, I was a little bit too old. And so I didn't get into like collecting them or anything. And then the deeper shades are in the bottom. And they've got this plastic. Can I get the plastic piece off? Maybe? 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 Come on. Oh, there's a sticker holding it. Okay. So here are the deeper shades. So you get those deeper mattes and then those beautiful, rich, colorful shimmers on the top row. Love that. These are colors that I can rock with. I mean, these are colors that I absolutely do love and use. So even though I'm not such a super like, that's the weird thing with Glamlight is sometimes I'm like not into the color story, but I'm super into the theme, like some of the horror stuff. But then sometimes it'll be I'm not really super into the theme, but then the colors, like this is absolutely a Janessa kind of look. These pink, purple, blue, a little bit of creamy, beautiful shimmers, all that kind of stuff. So very excited to play with this. Like I said, I have to take some pictures over in my light box, and that's where I'll take on all the lip stuff. And yeah, I'm loving this. And this is my first purchase on the TikTok shop. And I have to say that like I'm pretty impressed. I felt like the deal that I got on the TikTok shop was really, really good. I think that this whole collection, I think the original price is $186. And I think that with shipping on the TikTok shop, I think I paid $104. So pretty, and for this is a new collection that just came out. So they've been running all these different like specials and kind of stuff for the launch and everything. And so they had like a launch special. And so, yeah, I think it was like $106, and I think it's normally $186. So, and that's without shipping. Although 186, I think at Glamlight would get you free shipping anyway. But so I think the total with tax and everything was like $106. So, not too bad for a palette, like a 2-level palette, a big blush palette with 6 different blushes. 4 lip kits that have 3 products, a lip liner, a lipstick, and a lip gloss. And I've already lost it, the lip plumper. Where did I set the plumper? Oh, it's right here. Okay, and then the lip plumper. This one we'll take out. I don't mind if this one is out of the package before we take the pictures. Let's see if I can get this open without ruining the box. Yeah, it was a really good deal. I was pretty impressed. And I know they've been running different deals, and deals kind of come and go on the TikTok shop. And so I don't know what it's priced at now, but I was pretty impressed with that. Now on TikTok, I don't know that they do the like affiliate codes. I don't know how to put them in. It just kind of has that like plumper smell to it. But you can see this is kind of a like purpley pink fun. So that, should we try it? Let's see, because this is one of those like hot lip plumpers. And Allie Dawson said that it wasn't super stingy. It was just kind of hot. I've got a little bit of balm on. Let me just wipe that off like an animal. But we'll take some of that off so that I can put this lip plumper on. That was not close enough for me to be able to see. I need a little mirror. Hello, Allison. How's it going? Yeah, it definitely has a little bit of color. It has a little bit of glitter. I'm not getting, okay, I'm starting, there's a little bit of heat. So yeah, a little bit of heat, but not like the really stingy, not like the Too Faced, not like those. It's definitely got a little bit of heat to it, but it's not bad. It's not uncomfortable. I'm liking that so far. It does, but it does have that, like, I wish they put some sort of flavor or something. I don't know if that kills the plumping or whatever, but I would love it if it had a little bit of flavor or even just like a smell, because it's right under my nose. And I do just, you know how plumping stuff sometimes has that, like, it's like almost like a slight pepper mixed with chemical. Like it's that kind of smell. And it definitely has that. And so, yeah, like a cinnamon smell would be good. Just something so it isn't that chemical peppery smell. It's not bad. It is starting, it's like got a little bit of a tingle to it. It's got a little bit of heat, but it's not bad. I've certainly had worse. I have a video on my channel about when I was a Tyra beauty tainer for Tyra Beauty. That was drama, all drama. But that was such a wild time. But they had a lip plumper that was like, I mean, people describe the Too Faced as like physically painful, and I agree with that. And I feel like this was even like a step up from the Too Faced, like the Tyro one was. This one is nice. It's got a little burn to it, a little, but I love a curry. And I love to make hot curry. And when I make a curry, if I'm making it for myself, especially, I figure like after you're done eating, if your lips don't like tingle and burn a little bit for like 10 minutes after you're done eating, did you even have a curry? Like, what was the point? So I don't mind this at all. If you're like a wimp and you're like, oh, I don't know about plumpers, I think they would hurt too much. This one might not be too bad. It's got a little bit of tingle, a little bit of sting, but yeah, not too bad. So that's kind of our lunch break live. I'm going to get back to work. I have one more night. Mama Champagne was supposed to come over today. And then the weather in North Dakota is always a pain. And luckily, there's not too much snow here in Grand Forks. And we better not get too much more snow because let me tell you, I could write books about all of the terrible experiences I've had with lawn care companies. I don't know what it is about me, particularly, that I like just end up connected with people who don't follow through. Like these are professional people that have like websites and business cards and like all this kind and Yelp reviews and all this kind of shit. And like they'll just stop showing up or they'll just like quit out of nowhere. I had one guy who was like, "Oh, sorry, I had to fire people on my staff, and so now I have to take less places." So he cut me off like in the middle of the season. And so it was just like ridiculous. So now I have this lawn company that they are excellent. They do fantastic work. They're out. I mean, if it like breathes a little bit of snow, like they're out. They're out all the time. They do it and they better because they are exorbitantly expensive. And so I like hedged my bets and I did my lawn contract. I didn't do November and I didn't do April. Those are the 2 months in North Dakota where like things get dicey. You never know what's going to happen. And now it's like we're in the like week up until December, and I'm like, look, bitch, you need to calm the fuck down. You can't snow very much because these people are not coming. They are not on contract until December 1st. So if you want to have a little bit of snow that melts off, if you want to have a little bit that maybe just people walk through and it's all taken care of, but I don't need anything that I would physically have to clear because they do not start until December 1st, and I will not pay an extra month for 1 week. Like I just won't do it. So it's so expensive. It's so expensive, but it's just they're the only ones that like have been reliable. I've had because I get it. Because you never know what the weather is going to be like. And sometimes it's like a really crazy winter and you get your money's worth because they're there every 15 minutes or whatever. And then there are some years where like you might have a month and it snows once, maybe, and you've paid for that whole month. That's why I don't like contracts. That's why I've always tried to find people that like you could hire on a per time basis. But all of those, maybe the business model doesn't work. Maybe that's the problem. Yes, hot ice cream. Yes, Allison. I just saw that comment. Now, TikTok, I got sucked into the hot ice cream area of TikTok for a while, and it was very strange. And she's like, it's just melted ice cream, like that's heated up to be like a drink. She's like, it's not cocoa. It's not a shake. It's not. And it's like, okay, calm down. But it's literally just like ice cream that's heated up. Although I think they said that they've added something to it so that you can like enjoy it like a drink. I don't know what they've added to like. I think it's just hot. I think it's just ice cream that's been heated up. And they probably added a little bit of milk or something to like make it more drinkable, drink like. Yeah. Hot ice cream. Tyra Banks is wild. Tyra Banks is wild. If you haven't watched Luxaria, so if you are somebody like me who used to watch Top Model and didn't think too much about it, I love watching Luxaria. She is from the UK. She's friends. I found her through, I really like Novimpia, who is a drag queen duo out of the UK. And I follow them and I'm part of their Patreon and all that kind of stuff. And they are friends with Rolly and Lux. Rolly and Luxaria and so they do videos together. Sometimes they're friends, and then Luxaria has her own channel and Rolly has his own channel. And Luxaria moved to Spain this last year, and so it's this whole thing. But she's really fabulous, and she does all of these like rewatching of old like reality shows, and it's so wild to see her reaction to some of these things because there's so much of that stuff that like we just didn't think about at the time. I think back to I used to watch that and like we were so uncritical of the media that we consumed because they really were like horrible to all those women. And we just like cheered it on. It was terrible. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I've got a little tickle in my throat, but so yeah. So watch Luxaria. She's a lot of fun, and she's been doing episodes of Glow Up. I think I might have to join her Patreon because she was doing reactions to Project Runway, like the early seasons of Project Runway. And then those kept getting copyright flagged. And so now those are exclusively on her Patreon. And I used to love that show. The first like 5 seasons of Project Runway, I was really down with. It kind of drifted off for me after a while. It got a little bit samey. It's like a lot of reality shows. I don't watch a lot of reality. If I do, it tends to be like the competition ones because then it's at least usually about something like making stuff competition shows. So like Glow Up where they do makeup or like Project Runway. Not as much like I'm not much of a Drag Race fan. I'm also a Dragula fan. Can we talk about Dragula for a second? It's making me tired. I'm so glad that Eva Destruction finally showed up this season because I rooted for her because I'd seen some like videos before the season that she was on, and I was like, Eva Destruction is really good. And then she got on this show and she was not great. And then she was on Titans and she was not great. Now she's on Titans 2 and she's killing it, but she's also kind of obnoxious. And she was really obnoxious on Titans 1. Where there's this thing, and Cynthia Doll is the worst. I'm so glad that Cynthia Doll is gone now, but like where they're so obviously playing for the camera, like all these reactions or whatever. And Eva Destruction is such a like, she's the crier. And they even like in this last episode, they talked about how she's always the crier. And like if she's happy, she cries. If she's sad, she cries. If she's mad, she cries. Like it's a little bit too much. And I'm like, okay. But I really like what she's been doing. But there is this kind of like, she has this way of talking that's so pretentious and it just drives me crazy. But I don't know. And they've clearly set up because they've been doing this thing. Drag Race did it too. They're always trying to like really differentiate themselves from like that other drag show or whatever. But they also do a lot of the same things. And so in the like background, and they haven't told the main contestants this, but all of the people who have been eliminated, then they have this like something showdown. I forget what they call it, but it's like after you've been eliminated, then they compete and like one wins each week. And then they go on to the next week and they go with the next person who's been eliminated. And apparently whoever wins this showdown thing is going to be in the finale with the 3. They just picked the 3. And so, they've been setting it up because Eva Destruction won this thing. She won the challenge. She won the like overall runway challenge. And so she got to choose who was eliminated. She got to use the sonic transducer because they did a Rocky Horror Picture Show kind of riff with this musical, and musicals, put a pin in that. And so she got rid of Sigourney Beaver. And I was like, and then they had this like backstage footage of Sigourney like pitching a fit about how she was so mad and Eva's going to be screwed and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, so clearly they're just going to bring Sigourney back for the finale. Because Dragula, as much as I like it, and I like it because I don't really watch Drag Race, but I've seen I've seen most of the All Star seasons because I kind of like the All Stars. Because why I don't like Drag Race now is that I saw seasons like 2 through 6, and then later I went back and watched 7 because that's where Trixie and Katya got their start. But I like the All Star seasons because now I feel like with Drag Race, it's all of these little demon twinks who are obnoxious, but they're all like they come on and they know there's like 14 of us, somebody's going to get eliminated first. It's 90-minute episodes and there's actual stuff we're doing, so they're like, if I want to make a name for myself, I have to like be the one who gets the camera time or whatever. So they're all being extra bitchy and extra annoying and extra like stupid and trying to like work out their catchphrase, like get a girl and all this. And it's just like, it's so obnoxious. And with All Stars, they've already had their time on their season and they're like a known commodity. So there's less of that. There's less of the like having to posture for the camera because now it's like, well, we're all established and we're back here for this competition. So I kind of like the All Stars better. Dragula is a little bit rougher, but they're definitely, you can tell it's much more produced. And I wish that the like production was better. I wish that because that's one thing I'll say for Drag Race is that they're good at producing a moment. And I feel like Dragula is still finding their footing because like in this latest episode, sorry, this is going to be spoilers for anybody who hasn't watched the episode that came out today, because I watched it last night because it comes out at like midnight or whatever, and so I watched it last night. And so we were in the final 5, and so then Eva Destruction wins, and then they said all the other 4 are going to have to face the Ghostly Gallows. So Ghostly Gallows is when they've done it weird. Sometimes they do like an extermination thing at the end, and sometimes they just do this Ghostly Gallows where they go up and then one drops through a trapdoor. Although one episode they had a like double elimination that was all wild and crazy, and Eva cried every single time just because somebody else got eliminated. Like that's what I'm talking about. But so they would go up and they would stand there. Well, then they said all 4 of them were going to have to face the Ghostly Gallows. Okay, so the 5 that were left, it's Eva Destruction, JK, Abora, Jaharia, and Cynthia Doll were the 5. So they're like the top 5. So Eva Destruction wins. This is why I was so annoyed, because Jaharia got the worst critiques. I don't think anybody watching that episode wouldn't have understood that Jaharia was going home. Her costume was her look for the like super villain challenge was terrible. The critiques were terrible. Cynthia Doll, it was a little more up in the air. Abora, it was a little bit more up in the air. They were the 2 who are kind of the unknown quantities. And then JK was like so good and almost won, but Eva Destruction was just better. So, okay, so it's like if you're going to send them all to the Ghostly Gallows, they have to go up in pairs. So this is what I mean about production, is because you obviously know that whoever is going up with JK is going to go home, because JK did really, really, really well. They're just making all 4 of the people who didn't win face the Ghostly Gallows. But there was no way they were going to eliminate JK. JK had never been in the bottom through the whole season. This one was like they were loving on it. They thought it was perfection. You know, JK is not going home. So really what they should have done is, since the 2 that were kind of up in the air were Abora. So who's going up? Sorry, I'm getting confused. So like, Abora, Jaharia, and Cynthia Doll. So Cynthia Doll and Abora were the 2 that were kind of the wild cards, because it was pretty clear that Jaharia was going home. So what they should have done is sent Jaharia up with JK, because we all knew she was going anyway. So it's like they should have sent those 2 up, because then you could just drop Jaharia, and then you have an actual question of who's getting eliminated. Is it Abora or is it Cynthia Doll? Because they were both like had bad critiques, but not terrible. Jaharia, they were just like over her, like she was clearly going home. But they didn't. They sent Cynthia Doll with JK. And so then obviously Cynthia Dahl was going home. So they dropped Cynthia Dahl. Well, then they sent up Jaharia and Abora. And it's like, well, Abora, there was some question about whether or not she was going to go home. But like when you put her up there with Jaharia, it's like, well, no, obviously Jaharia's going home. Hers was terrible. And Abora, so like it was this supervillain challenge. And the main thing that they said was that it was too close to like Bizarro from DC. So everybody else had created more like original characters. Abora did this like stilts performance, and it was kind of a Bizarro, but she did Abhorro. And so but it was clearly Bizarro inspired or whatever. And I was like, but next to Jaharia's, like her performance, there was no way they were going to send that home over Jaharia. But if they had put Abora and Cynthia Dahl together, then you might have been like, oh, well, who are they going to eliminate? The one that like had less focus or whatever, or the one that was like a little bit better performance, but it was too similar to something that already existed. It wasn't original enough. That could have been an interesting question. So that's what I mean about, I wish the production was better. I wish they made wiser choices about how they did things, because they're not very good at building storylines around their competitors, because they'll just show them being nasty and mean and awful. And then all of a sudden they'll like turn to the camera and be like, I was in an abusive relation. And so they try to have this like vulnerable moment, but they show them like being awful and terrible. They don't build this like storyline where all of a sudden they say this traumatic thing from their past. And we're all like, oh, okay, I guess I'm sorry that happened. But like, they're not very good at it. I know, long story short, it never happens. I know, didn't I say I was going a long time ago? But, oh, musicals. That's the other thing. If there's anything that I think that Drag Race has really done to the detriment of our entire world, to our entire human population, and Dragula is now like hopping on the coattails, is making drag queens think that they should and need to and even can sing live. I'm so fucking tired of this idea that drag queens have to sing, because Drag Race especially has unleashed so many auto-tune nightmares onto this world that I think should be charged as hate crimes. They are so terrible. And so luckily the five or six that were in the like Dragula, the what did they call it? The Boulay Horror Picture Show, or the Boulay Brothers Picture Show, something like that. It was okay, but it's like, it's terrible music that they've written themselves. The singing was all right, but like, drag queens don't need to sing. There's a long storied tradition of drag queens lip syncing. Stop making them sing live, because it's terrible. Now, there are some that like actually can sing, and that's like their talent and becomes a thing. But now, like when they do the talent show on RuPaul's Drag Race, because sometimes I see clips and stuff or whatever, every single one of them is recording their song. And there's at least 2 episodes where they record their own song, and it's always horrific. It's always terrible. For every read you, wrote you situation, like that kind of performance, there's going to be 10 dog shit performances. So I hate that that's what they do, and that it's become this thing. I understand that like licensing music is expensive. So for a show like Drag Race, where they're like, oh, why would we pay to use a song by a real artist when we can just like auto-tune these caterwauling nightmares, and just make it into a song. Not a soul can clock. Not a soul can clock. Not a soul can clock. You can't clock. Like, they just say the same line over and over again. Like, they don't even, there's no thought put into it. They don't even try to rhyme anything. They just say the same words. It's a nightmare. And I wish we could all collectively wake up from it, but we can't, because it's just the situation we live in now. So, all right, I am going to go back to work, but I hope everybody's having a lovely day. I hope you're enjoying whatever this weather is doing. To the weather in Grand Forks, let me just remind you, no significant snow until after December 1st, please. If you could please fuck all the way off, that would be great. But yeah, I hope everybody's having a good holiday week as we're getting ready for Thanksgiving. And yeah, this is kind of settled into just a nice, like, low little burn, but yeah, I like it. So final thoughts on this. Not very extreme. So if you're worried about lip plumpers, this might be a good one to get a little bit of that burn, but I don't know that it's plumping. I don't know that I feel like my lips are especially juicy or anything, but all right, I'm going to go. I hope everybody has, let's see. Oh, I have to remember my outro. So replay crew, you rock. Leave your comments down below to let me know what you thought of this little unboxing, talking about my first ever TikTok purchase of the Bratz collection from Glamlight. While you're down there, don't forget to give me that thumbs up to tell me you appreciated the video. Or if you think that I'm just a capitalist shopping nightmare, then go ahead and give me that thumbs down. It is all engagement. The algorithm isn't to pick. The algorithm isn't to pick you, bitch, and neither am I. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit the. This would be the blooper reel if we were doing a video. While you are down there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, become part of the family, and hit that bell icon so you'll be notified of all future uploads and lives. We've been doing a lot more lives. Yeah, so hit that. I try to have at least one video a week if I can. And sometimes, if you're lucky, very lucky, you might even get a bonus video. Ooh, Bratz-erific. If you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, all of my social media will be linked down in the description box below, including a link to my website. Just pretend it's there. The World of Champagne at JanessaJ.com. Thanks so much for watching. I love and appreciate all of you. And until I see you again, bye. And the awkward shut off. Okay, end stream. All right, goodbye.